Okay, it's 9 a.m. I'd like to call to order the regular Board of Directors meeting for the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. Essa, could you please take a roll call?
Sure. In attendance, we have Vice Chair Gary Mackler, who will be chairing today's meeting, and Directors Rona Fukumoto, Melvin Kahele, Carol Riemann, and Kimberly Sparlin.
Okay, so we have 5. We have a quorum to conduct this meeting. I'd like to go on to section 2, the approval of minutes. First, the regular meeting minutes of March 11th, 2021. Can I have a motion to approve? I did not hear a motion to approve. Would someone like to make that motion?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on these minutes, or deletions, additions? Board members? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Chair, if I may, as I was absent, I will abstain.
Okay, thank you. The motion carries. Moving on to the item B under section 2, the executive session meeting minutes of March 11th, 2021. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second? I'm having a problem hearing. I'm not sure if it's coming through or if you're muted.
Gary, did you, is
Sorry.
that
Sorry to interrupt, but I think we lost Mel. So currently we do not have a quorum until he connects.
Okay, so we'll just hold on until he does reconnect.
And sorry, this is Sandy Ching, Deputy Attorney General. If Board Member Sparlin abstained, do we not have the votes to approve them?
Oh, yeah.
we need to just postpone it to the next meeting. If she abstained, we only have 4 votes, correct?
Okay. Okay, then given the abstention, we'll move the executive session or approval of the executive session meeting minutes of March 11th, 2021 to the next regular Board of Directors meeting.
As well as the regular minutes, correct?
As well as the regular meeting.
Okay,
minutes.
thank you.
Gary, can you hear me, Gary?
I can hear you now. I
Okay,
couldn't.
yeah, I got disconnected for a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'd like to move on to section 3, item A. This is to approve resolution number 152, authorizing the issuance of Hula Mai multifamily tax exempt revenue bonds for the Kai Aulu o Waikoloa project located in Waikoloa, Hawaii. TMK number 368003028. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Good morning. The subject for action requests authorization to issue Hula Mai multifamily bonds through the adoption of resolution number 152 for the benefit of the Kaiaula o Waikoloa project. The project will be a newly constructed 60-unit rental facility for family households at or below 30%, 40%, and 60% area median gross income on the Big Island. Improvements consist of 8 two-story buildings and 1 community center. Type of construction is reinforced concrete slab on grade foundation with wood framing, fiber cement siding, and asphalt reflective shingle roof. This project shall have project-based Section 8 rental subsidies for 15 units. On January 12, 2017, the HHFDC Board of Directors approved an intended tax-exempt issuance of approximately $12.36 million from the Hula Mai multifamily bond program and up to approximately $964,000 in annual federal 4% low-income housing tax credits for 10 years and up to $964,000 annual state low-income housing tax credit for 5 years, and a rental housing revolving fund loan up to 9.9 million. On May 14, 2020, the HHFDC Board of Directors approved an increase of the intended tax exempt issuance up to approximately 19.18 million, and an increase in the federal and state tax credits of approximately 1.39 million. On March 11, 2021, the HHFDC Board of Directors approved an increase in the annual federal and state 4% low-income housing tax credits up to approximately 1.81 million, based on the new minimum 4% housing credit rate established by the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. The project was delayed as the awardee worked with the federal and state government agencies to address the new guidance on building in the Waikoloa Maneuver, formerly used defense site. 6 days after receiving the initial award of funding in 2017, HUD issued a notice suspending funding on projects located in that site that had ground disturbing activities until the Department of Health issued a site closure letter or similar documentation indicating the property was safe for residential use. Since the notice was issued by HUD, the awardee has worked diligently to meet the requirements to close on the financing and start construction. Section 3C of the 4 action includes details of the work required for the project to move forward. The project structured the HHMFF bond as a private placement with First Hawaiian Bank and American Savings Bank. First Hawaiian Bank is the lead lender on the transaction. The project expects bond issuance to fund over 50% of its anticipated basis, allowing for maximum utilization of the 4% low-income housing tax credits. The proposed financing structure and the project budget can be found on page 4 of the 4 action. Exhibit C provides the comparison tables on the project budget and financing changes. The project is not requesting additional funding from HHFDC. The net 1.6 million budget increase was attributable to higher costs, which was prompted by cost inflation and additional work associated with the unexploded ordinances. The higher cost was absorbed primarily by a reduction in county fees and financing costs, increase of low-income housing tax credit equity during construction, increase of the permanent bond loan, and an increase in the deferred developer fee. As part of the bond process, the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act requires HHFDC to conduct a public hearing addressing the issuance of tax-exempt bonds for affordable housing project prior to bond issuance. HHFDC conducted the first TEFRA hearing on June 14, 2017. No testimony was received. The second TEFRA was held on July 30th, 2020 to address the increase in the amount of the issuance of tax-exempt bonds. No testimony was received at that one. Documentation and due diligence are essentially complete. Staff recommends adoption of Resolution 152, which authorizes the issuance, sale, and delivery of Hula May multifamily bonds to support the construction of the Kaio'ula Waikoloa project. Staff, as well as the developers, Ms. Doug Bigley, is also available for questions.
Board members, anybody have any questions? Okay, hearing none. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. The motion carries. I'd like to move on to item B under section 3. This is information on noise complaints concerning the Waimanalo Village Affordable Rental Housing Project located in Waimanalo, Ko'olaupoko, Oahu. TMK numbers 141012, various, and 141034, various. Staff.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. You'll recall that at last month's meeting, as part of the Executive Director's report, we discussed very briefly several noise complaints that we had received regarding primarily roosters in the Waimanalo Village subdivision. One of the complaints took the form of a letter to the board of directors. And at that meeting, the board had asked me to follow up on this matter and provide an update. So this is the update. Just a little bit of background on the Waimanalo Village subdivision. It was developed in the late 1970s. It's actually is composed of 188 separate lots, most of which are house lots. And it takes up 43 acres in the center of Waimanalo. There's a project location map attached for information. Of those 188 lots, there are actually 46. There are 46 houses that comprise a scattered site affordable rental housing project, while the remainder of the subdivision is for sale housing. And those house lots are under a master lease from HHFDC to the Waimanalo Village Residents Corporation. That's the successor entity to the developer of the project. I mentioned the noise complaints received late 2020, early 2021. Primarily the noise is generated by a large-scale rooster farming. And the staff did meet with the complainants, or two of the complainants, I should say, and investigated the matter in early February of this year. When Waimanalo Village was developed, it received exemptions from development standards similar to today's 201H. It was called 359G back then. And part of those exemptions involve permitting essentially an unlimited number of fowl, horses, goats on the properties. These are 5,000 square feet or so house lots, and those exemptions were passed by the City Council at the Hawaii Housing Authority's request. And the intent of that particular exemption was to preserve the rural lifestyle in that community. The subdivision development includes a 9.5 acre buffer lot that was designed to help to insulate the community from surrounding subdivisions. And you'll see Exhibit B, the buffer lot is in green. So we have Waimanalo Village in the center. There's a rental low-income housing tax credit project, Waimanalo Apartments on the left-hand side. And there's the Waimanalo Banyan Tree subdivision, townhomes on near the lower left corner of that map. As part of the investigation, staff did attend the March 22nd, 2021 regular meeting of the Waimanalo Village Residents Corporation Board of Directors. In part, that was done to follow up on the complaint. In part, we had other matters to discuss. And at that meeting, we were assured that the Community Association, which is the ground lessee for the rental project, was dealing with the matter, and I was told, they'll keep us apprised and they will follow up, and they have done so. I mentioned the 359G exemptions. We had some discussion internally about whether it's possible to kind of undo the exemption that was received that has to do with livestock essentially on the properties. It is possible to essentially delete those exemptions from the initial resolution. And that can be done by introduction of the resolution by any Honolulu City Council member. And, really it would have to be done with community support. That's the update. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris, board members? Carol? Carol, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, got it. Sorry, it takes a while. So I noticed the complaint says large scale rooster farming. So in your investigations, how large scale is large scale?
Well, we've historically had problems with rooster farming in Waimanalo Village. There are several vacant parcels at the corners where that activity has occurred. This particular complaint is at, the location is at the end of one of the dead end roads, and it borders a vacant lot, and then it's very close to the buffer zone. So it's hard to give you an exact answer, Director Ryman, but dozens and dozens. And then we're talking about, again, call it a 5,000 square foot house lot, but they have kind of expanded onto those vacant areas. It's many more roosters than you would like to see on that small of an area. And it really is a noise issue.
So is it like a fighting cock that they're raising there?
Well, I can't.
Triangle things.
I know them. Yeah, that would be my assumption based on what I saw.
Thank you.
Chris, how soon are you expecting a follow-up from management?
I received a written update last week from Hawaiiana. Hawaiiana actually does the rental project management for the community association. He's basically, he told me that the matter has been referred to outside counsel. He's following up with counsel. He's pledged to keep me updated, and he's actually relatively new on this project, and he's been very good to work with so far.
Thank you. Any other questions, members? If not, I guess we just received this for today's agenda. And thank you for the update, Chris. So I'd like to move on to the next item, which is section 4, and this is Executive Director's Report.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Mackler. Good morning, directors. For this month's report, we would like to give you an update on Waihole Valley. There was the mid-March flood, which caused extensive damage to our water system. And we'd also like to provide you with the status of the construction for the repair of the existing system. So presenting some information this morning is our Development Branch Chief, Dean Minakami. Dean, are you there?
Yes, Denise. Thank you. Good morning, board members. Carrie Ann Ibarra has been working very hard on addressing the storm damage. What we'll do is we'll show you some photos of the damage, and after we show you those photos, we'll talk about our next steps for repairing the damage. Right now, the water system is functional, so all of the residents do have water, but we do have longer term concerns about how vulnerable the system is. So Carrie Ann?
Sorry, Essa, could you allow me to screen share?
Sure. Hold on. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm showing now is just an overview of Waihole Valley. You can see Kamehameha Highway. Are you able to see my cursor moving?
Yes.
Okay. Kamehameha Highway here on the right. There's Waihole Valley Road, which branches to the South Branch, the North Branch up here, and then Homestead Road. So I made a little marker of where, approximately where the paved road ends, and then it turns into our access road deep in the valley to our well site here where I have circled. As you get further in, this is our well site area. We have a bridge in this location. And this is a blow up of the actual site itself. It is very remote. It is downslope of the areas above. The stream, Waihole stream runs adjacent to the well site. This is our pump house, wells, and then controls and whatnot. So what had happened was this boulder embankment had failed. All of that debris came washing down and the stream diverted directly into the well site. Our contractor was able to stop the flow and temporarily put some of that boulders back here. So this is where they've stacked it. This is a photo of, on the left is the approximate location of where the boulder embankment was. And you can see now that the stream is just flowing through there. And on the right is where they've stacked it currently. And you can see the size of these boulders with the people adjacent to them. So we put together before and after photos. The left is a before of the well site entry. And then this is on the right-hand side is the day after, so March 10th, where you can see the water still flowing through. This is another view, another view of inside of the well site. You can see the rear pump and the pump house, the control house. And you can see how all of the boulders and debris, trees all had come down. There is a fence back there, if you can see it, behind a kind of low rock wall. And that was taken down by the sheer force of the water and debris. This is a view of our pump house before on the left, and then images from a video. So, so it's a little bit blurry, but you can see that it's undermined the foundation of the entry and the water that was coming through. On the left-hand side is a view of pump number 2, which is actually the pump closest to the entry. And then on the right-hand side is the debris that just covered it. So this is the access road looking from the bridge to the well site. And you can see this electrical pole as a reference. And this is the electrical pole here and how the road was just really washed away. This is a view from the well site towards the bridge. Again, you know, the extensive damage of the road itself. This is one of the controllers for the pumps, and it was basically inundated. Here's a better view of that chain link fence in the back of the site, and you can't even see the rock wall that's below it anymore in this view. This is the bridge on the left-hand side where the people are in the left photo. Prior to the storm, there was a pipe break, so we had a temporary line running alongside the bridge. It's intended to be replaced, but that was damaged by boulders that had come down as well. This is left and middle photos are pictures of the concrete apron and bridge just after it was built in 2014. And on the right-hand side is all of the debris that had come down. You can see the high watermark line is about 2-3 feet above the bridge itself. And that's the photos that I have. Thank you.
So the governor has issued a emergency proclamation for the storms that occurred in March. So that proclamation suspends certain permitting requirements and procurement. So that will allow us to expedite repair of the wells. You know, of course, what is very urgent to us is to repair that boulder embankment. Right now, we just have a temporary boulders stacked up and water is still seeping through there into the well site. So that will be the first order of business, is to stop the water from flowing through the site, repairing the access road and doing other repairs to the well system. The longer term, we do have concerns about the current location of the well. You know, this has highlighted the precarious location of the wells. They're very remote. They're accessed by a 2-mile long dirt road. Several small bridges cross, you know, this Waihole stream to reach the well site. And it probably is just a matter of time before, even if we rebuild that boulder embankment, another heavy storm could come and do similar damage. So we, you know, as part of the strategic planning process, we were looking at alternatives for the well system, including relocating the wells. And I think this provides some urgency to select a site and start working on the relocation of the wells. So this is something that we are looking at, and we will be coming to the board, probably the Waihole subcommittee first, to get input on the new water system. Do you have any questions?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, Dean and Carrie Ann. The photos are amazing. I know that Leo was taking a bunch of photos as we went out there in the valley, but I didn't know you had before photos of the same shot. So that was really a really nice comparison. The damage was quite extensive. Do we have an estimate, Dean, a ballpark estimate right now?
Right now, it's going to be at least, well, we were going to repair the wells anyway, right? We're going to do repair work before the storm happened. And that was going to be about $2.9 million. So the storm damage alone, if I had to just, we're working with our contractors now to determine what that price tag will be, but probably at least $1 million additional.
So we're looking at $3 or $4 million, directors, but we will come back for a budget increase in order to pay for the damages and then the repairs. The repair of the existing water system is imperative because we cannot even begin to restructure our water rates and do those talks with the community until we start to repair the existing water system. So development branch has been working hard on that, and they will be back hopefully next month with more information and a budget. Any questions?
Director, if I may, just because this is under an emergency proclamation, I'm assuming, I just want to confirm for the general public listening that there will be investigation into whether or not this can be covered partially with emergency funds.
Yes, we have been working with IEMA.
Thank you.
So thank you, Director Sparlin. I believe we've been working with both FEMA and I know Ali Sloas connected us to somebody. So we're working with them as well. Thank you very much.
So the full $4 million may not have to come from HHFDC directly.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you. Any other questions, directors?
Denise,
Yes.
this is Mike.
Yay, Mike.
What about the other property that we won't name the name of the tenant, that things are going into the stream and clogging the stream? Is there any way we can use emergency funds to clear that property to avoid future damming of the stream and not letting that stuff flow into the stream? Or is that a separate issue?
No, that's part of it. That's a good question, Director McCartney. We have been in contact with the property owner. A letter has been issued and an invitation to do a site visit to first verify that the property belongs to them. Secondly, I think the large debris was already removed by property owners. But we do have to survey the area and we need their
Can I have-
cooperation.
Do you mind if I have a copy of the letter? Because I was there the week before and actually this week, but I didn't go on that property. So
Sure,
I wouldn't mind checking it out for Dean if he's okay with that.
sure. We'll get you a copy of the letter.
Yeah.
So an invitation has been issued to the property owner. First, they need to verify that the property that flowed downstream does belong to them.
Okay.
And then after that, we need to ask them to remove it. The other agencies involved would be Clean Water Branch, because we understand there may be some seepage into the water from that property. There's been reports of slick oil in the water. So Clean Water Branch may have been contacted. And I think there's another branch. Carry on, is there another branch?
The Water Commission at DLNR.
So the Water Commission actually accompanied us on the site visit when we went out to Waipole.
When did you go?
We went, was it last week, Dean? I believe it was last week we went.
Last week.
Okay. Yeah, because people said they saw you guys there. I just didn't know what day it was. Weekday.
Weekday.
Okay.
It was the first.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So
Yeah,
So
so
we'll
can
get
you talk to me offline about how I can help you guys? Because I'm getting, as you are, a lot of calls, and I don't want to do anything contrary to what you guys are doing. I just want to facilitate getting that area clean. And what I would appreciate, Dean, is at some point you can tell me how that particular individual got the land and what was the reason for that transfer of that land to the individual. I think the records show it, yeah.
I'm not sure, but we can talk offline. I think that's the private property. That's not ours, right?
Yeah, I know, but we did a land exchange for them to get that property, I think, in the past.
I don't know if Dean has that history.
Yeah.
Chris might have that history, but
Yeah, with a quick claim and deed. And I
Yes.
think the agency assisted that individual in getting that land.
Yes,
so we could probably talk offline.
Yeah,
we have
I
that
just want to
information.
know what I gotta go in there with when I talk to them.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay, which I'm happy to do if you let me.
Yes, we always welcome your help, Director McCartney.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions, directors? Okay, then I want to move on to legislative matters. Some of our key bills involve the budget bill. We did have an adjustment to our budget. The $38 million infusion to the rental housing revolving fund to replace the suspension of the conveyance taxes were eliminated from our budget. There was also an elimination in the HD1 of 15 positions, some of them with live bodies. We have worked with the Ways and Means Committee to restore the positions with live bodies or connected to live bodies. There is also a separate bill, Bill 58, that has the infusions still in them, I believe. The other key bill is Public Lands, House Bill 902, and Senate Bill 2. I believe you all have a list in your packet of all the bills. This is the Public Lands Bill that shaves off 6 to 9 months of the development process and expands our current exemption to include leased lands and lands executive ordered over to HHFDC. There has been strong opposition by OHA and other groups. So we have been meeting with OHA regularly, as well as with the housing chairs. So we will continue to work with all parties as the bill goes to conference. Another bill, House Bill 77, helps owners of remnant parcels that have the least fee interest that never quite cross the finish line to home ownership. I think there's about 81 out of the 600 left, so roughly 13%, maybe less, where they have to, we have to seek a concurrent resolution for each time the lessee is ready and has the money to purchase the fee interest. And last year we had a bunch that were really disappointed because we ran out of time. Legislature ran out of time, session ended, and then they never got their fee simple. They never got to purchase their fee interest. So very disappointed homeowners. So this bill will really help them cross that finish line to true home ownership and also help streamline work for the agency. So we're very, very hopeful that this bill goes through. Also had a bill that discontinues our obsolete programs. I don't have the bill number offhand, but this is the old, obsolete, unfunded programs that really haven't been used and can't compete with the banks on. But this is going to delete and repeal those programs. Keawe Street Apartments, the low-income housing tax credit project in Leali'i, was at risk because the bill was not scheduled by finance, but then I now hear that the Senate has scheduled House Bill 1311, which would preserve the 37 million in rental housing revolving funds for the Keawe Street Apartments. This is for 200 units of LIHTC, so we'll be monitoring that bill. That is the list of our key bills. Directors, any questions on any of those bills? Hearing none. The one other thing is, I'm really sad that Director Atta could not join us today. Today would have been his last meeting. The governor has nominated Sean Sasaki. Director Atta has been a holdover for about a year now, and we just really want to thank him. I was on the phone with him earlier. We've invited him back to join us in the May meeting, at which time we hope to have the governor's commendation for his service, his community and service to this board. I'd also like to ask for your support in the confirmation hearings of Don Mendy, our chair, and Sean Sasaki. The hearing before the Senate Committee on Housing is today at 1 p.m. So if any of you can join and be there for support, that would be great.
Okay, well, thank you, Denise. Thank you for the report. That takes us to adjournment. There being no further, unless there's questions.
Sorry, Vice Chair.
Yes.
Since we have mic on. Sandy, are we able to approve the minutes?
Sure. Is Mike comfortable voting on the minutes?
I moved that we approve the minutes.
A second.
Any discussion? Any additions, any deletions? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
That approves the regular meeting minutes of March 11th, 2021. The executive session meeting minutes of March 11th, 2021. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thanks, Mel. Any discussion? Any additions or deletions? Hearing none, let's call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Thank you very much for circling back on that one. And that now brings us to adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
And
Thank
sorry
you.
about the delay, you guys getting on the meeting today. My security codes changed and I had a hard time retyping them in. It was just me. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you,
Get the
Mike.
hacksaw, Mike.
Thanks, everybody.
I know.
Good luck today.